played with Max Hall, who's a great competitor, all-time winningest quarterback in BYU history. And since you were the receiver, you're probably the all-time winningest receiver in BYU history. Nobody ever talks about that. Played with Peyton Manning. You also played with Tom Brady, right? So
yeah.
Whose personality was the toughest to deal with?
Off the field or on the field?
Either,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I have always made an effort to make the quarterback my best friend. I found out early that was probably a smart business decision. Make sure you befriend the quarterback.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, all the guys that I've played with have we have found that kind of common ground as far as what we want to do, and that was to win ball games. And every single one of the quarterbacks I had unbelievable amount of work ethic, which I admired and which I try to kind of match. All three of those guys are very different and unique in their own way, but they're all some of the greatest competitors that I've played with that were not afraid to put in the time and put in the reps to continue to get better. And that's ultimately what they all wanted to do, is kind of see how, what their ceiling was, and weren't afraid to put the work in to do it.
So who of the three was the most competitive? We know Max, and he's got to be up there, but of those three, and two of those are elite NFL guys, and one's an elite BYU guy, who was the most competitive?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's more competitive than Peyton is.
Really?
Yeah. And Tom's up there as well, right? I'm a bit biased because Peyton's my guy, but yeah. I thought I worked hard. I thought I prepared hard when I was at BYU, and it was, it paled in comparison to what Peyton and the time that he would put in and the time that Tom would put in, right? Like, it is night and day, nonstop, and really that's why. I felt like I hit a different level when I got to the league, and it was really all thanks to him, just because of the standard that he held for his teammates and the standard that he held for me, right? Like, I knew what was expected, what was going to be expected of me. I mean, most of these guys in the huddle was the same group. It was the same group that won the Super Bowl in 2006. I think me and Pierre Garçon were the only missing, or the only pieces of the puzzle that were different.
Wow. From
an offensive standpoint. And so it was, it was kind of a high pressured situation. And since I was the only different part of that offense,
sure.
Any decline in performance, obviously they'd be looking at me saying, "Yo, you need to get your act together, because this isn't how we roll."
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah.
And we wonder how teams win championships. That's how they win championships.
Yeah, that kind of expectation, right? You got to expect to win, and expect everybody to put the work in to win, right?
Absolutely.